Welcome to episode 448 of Salcedo Paranormal, and tonight I'm talking about mythology and the paranormal. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page, and that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord or if you listen on the podcast or YouTube feeds or on the Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of the show every night at 8 p.m. Not 8 p.m. I'm thinking of the start time of the stream tonight. At 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Trouble Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank the host of Trouble Minds Radio, Michael Strange, and the host of the Exiled Minds podcast, Liam Martin, for producing the show and putting it up on the station as you hear it there. And if you'd like to support the show, there are some different ways to do that. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your podcast platform of choice. Also, I've written some paranormal fiction and nonfiction books you can check out on Amazon. And then if you'd like to support the show through direct donations, you can either do that monthly through Patreon and get one extra episode of the show per month. That'll be a True Paranormal Stories from the Web show. Or you can make a one-time donation through PayPal or Venmo, and all those donations go towards things like equipment, expenses like equipment, and research materials, and then travel expenses as well. For different things I may go to in the future, including this year, the Mid-Michigan Paracon, and that's at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, this November 4th and 5th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. And I'll be there just to check out a Paracon for the first time and do some recordings, definitely of myself, with just my thoughts, but also hopefully with some other people as well. We'll see when I get there. And then I'll do a show or two about my experiences once I get back from that. So, and all help is always appreciated, never expected. But there are all these expenses, and it's also regarding the PayPal and Venmo. I'm sorry, I know those don't always work out for everyone. But there are other apps I've looked into where you have to use the phone as well to get to them, and due to being legally blind, that is not the best way or the easiest thing to do to arrange regarding those different apps. So if you're wondering why, I know there are other apps, Cash App and other things, but those require use of a phone as well, and I'm not able to really do that. So anyway, just a quick note there for anyone who's curious about that. But I think with that, I can get on to the show here. Now, this is the second show in a series of shows on mythological creatures. And at first I thought it was going to be all figures from the ancient past. But I was looking into things, and there are some that continue, sightings of them continue to this day. So when we get to those, we'll talk about those. But so yeah, and this has been a lot of fun to do this research for this so far. Of course, I use different versions of AI to summarize the materials I find. So that's what I'll be reading from mostly here as I do this show tonight and every time I do one of these shows. So let me get to the first one of these that I'll talk about tonight. We'll see how many we can get through. The first one here is the Basilisk. And it's a mythical monster, a chimera with parts from a dragon, a serpent, and a rooster, so a bird. It's described as having a rooster's head, dragon wings, and a serpentine tail. So they're known as extremely hostile and deadly to humans in multiple ways. Its gaze, breath, and venom, and hiss, even just the sound, can all kill. Also leaves destruction in its path, harming plants, birds, and even other serpents, which you would think it would not want to do that if it was anything sort of neutral or related nature in its own way. It says it has a few weaknesses, like weasels who are immune to its gaze, and the crowing of a rooster can kill it. So it's part. That's an odd little detail there. That is part of the creature, at least in some tellings of it or descriptions of it. But the crowing of a rooster, the known version or known animal, can kill this creature. Also, looking at its own reflection is fatal. So, it was likely inspired by cobras, actual snakes, which share some traits like raising up the front half of the body, having a hood that can look like a crown, spitting venom, and so on. And cobras live in Egypt, tying back to some of the earliest myths regarding the basilisk. But it's also featured in medieval bestiaries, so basically collections of information about these kinds of creatures and texts that study the natural world. Later became a symbol of evil in folklore, poetry, and biblical translations, commonly depicted in medieval and Renaissance art. So that's the basic description. And then as far as the paranormal goes here, mentions that the basilisk is basically can be a symbol of evil. And of course we all know, even though I don't touch it or cover that a lot in the show, the paranormal can range from benign, from positive to neutral to negative, all those different things. So even though I don't cover the negative side of things, the negative experiences, they are there. I don't cover them because so many other shows do, and that's not an automatic put down of those shows. Some of them do it really well, and sort of help people get through having deal with having had those negative experiences. And then, of course, you have others where they're just using the negative experiences for shock value. So there's all different kinds of shows out there, of course. But, so yeah, let me see here. This transformation reflects the paranormal concept of creatures or entities taking on symbolic or allegorical meanings beyond their physical attributes. In the realm of the paranormal, certain mythical beings or creatures often become associated with specific emotions, fears, or moral lessons, transcending their original descriptions and taking on a deeper, more mystical significance. And yeah, if you look into, I'm sure you could probably put in any animal type that you want online and search it in relation to mythology and just sort of magic or whatever, symbolism, and you would find that. I can't think of anything specific right now, but that does track to what I've encountered before looking into different things. Basilisk's ability to kill through its gaze, breath, venom, and hiss uh, ties it to the paranormal realm of deadly and supernatural powers. So again, being able to kill through means that are either enhanced versions of what animals can do, or just through regular versions that have effects that they normally wouldn't have when from the regular animals that make up this creature. Let's see. These powers often evoke fear and fascination, leading to their inclusion in various myths, legends, and paranormal stories throughout history. And that's the other thing. That's the thing I wanted to tie the series. All these figures from various points in the ancient past, even there's experiences today with people have with cryptids and other creatures and beings and entities that it seems like some of these mythological beings, these creatures that are said to be just made up, they exist somehow, whether it's through thought forms or there's actual spiritual versions or other dimensional versions of them. Hard to say, but that is something that will pop up again and again in this series, I think. And of course, so let's see, I think we've already gone over the whole connection to cobras. And so really it sounds like this basilisk is a more extreme, monstrous version of a cobra snake. And again, cobras are an actual natural creature as well. So, but yeah, so that's the first one I had to go over today. Very, very interesting one there. That's a figure I've heard about before. Also reminds me of maybe a figure we'll get to at a later date. The stare, the stare being able to kill someone. It's similar in a way to, based on what little I know of all these things, it's similar to Medusa, that figure in mythology as well. So, anyway, moving on to the next one here. Let me get back to the document. There we go. Okay. So this next one I'm going to mispronounce because it's from France. So I don't speak French. The Beast of Gevaudan. But anyway, so this was a mysterious wolf-like creature that killed between 60 and 200 people in that region of France in the 1760s. So when I first found sort of this website with all these different things, all these different mythological beings and creatures and things, I thought they were mainly going to stick to sort of just really ancient ideas and stories and things. But they really do, from what I can tell, they go through a lot. They include a lot in there, which is really amazing. So this had traits of various animals: wolf, lion, hyena, bear, and others. It was described as very large, having reddish-brown fur, long tail, and small, rounded ears. So apparently it surprised victims and often attacked in daylight. And then it goes into more graphic details about how it would kill people that I will not go into here. It evaded capture by hunters. And let's see here. The killings caused mass hysteria. The king at the time sent royal hunters, but the beast evaded them. Even large hunting parties were formed that killed, of course, several regular normal wolves after because of this whole event. It says in 1765, a hunter killed a large wolf and claimed it was the beast, presenting the body in court. but months later, the killings resumed. Excuse me. In 1767, Jean, I'm not sure if it's Jean or Jean, uh, Castel killed a beast, claiming to shoot it with silver bullets, and the killings then stopped. So that's probably one of the earliest versions that I know of, anyway, of the use of silver to deal with potentially paranormal beings. Theories for what it was include wolf-dog hybrid, striped hyena, a lion, a trained attack animal, or a serial killer's cover. Excuse me. It has inspired werewolf lore and other, of course, says fictional tales of monsters. But the identity remains a mystery today. So, of course, again, I already mentioned werewolves. Possibly this being an inspiration for some of those sightings in the future. And also the idea of, let's see here, silver being used to kill the creature. Silver is thought to be effective against supernatural beings, including werewolves. So, and of course, because it was an unsolved mystery, it basically remained in the minds of the people there after that for many years, and so it sort of went into that as becoming part of what is unknown in this world as far as the paranormal goes and how it interacts with the real world. So, but that's that one right there. And I thought that was neat. That was neat entry to have in this whole list here of something that, compared to ancient times, compared to like BC or anything like that, the 1700s are not too far back. So let me see here. One moment while I get some water. All right, so now this next one is really what got me thinking about how this website that I found, which is Mythology.net. One thing I like about it is that it does include different creatures from that are even seen to this day. So that's really amazing to me, because before I started this, I had heard the term mythology used to describe more just stories of events, and so I hadn't really thought of that as being something that continues to today. So, and of course, this next one, and we've talked about it in a few different episodes of the show before with other guests, and so I'm not going to do a lot on this topic here. But the next one that is brought up in this the site here is Bigfoot. And so Bigfoot is, again, going based off of this AI summary here. Bigfoot is a legendary creature that has been part of folklore of indigenous cultures in North America for a long time. It is described as a large, hairy, ape-like creature that lives in the woods. The first written records of Bigfoot encounters from Native Americans date back to the 1920s in Canada. I guess that's the first written records, but I don't know. I feel like there may have been others before, and this summary might be inaccurate there. Let me see here. So, mentions a teacher that heard stories and recorded the stories that he heard from native tribes about encounters with giant wild men that they called Sasquatch. So the name Bigfoot, it says here, originated in 1958 when large mysterious footprints were found at a construction site in California. This gained media attention and drew many Bigfoot hunters, in quotation marks there, to search for the creature. Descriptions of Bigfoot from alleged sightings characterize it as 6 to 10 feet tall. I have heard stories of even maybe taller than 10 feet here and there. Covered in hair and walking upright on two legs, but with an unusual gait compared to humans. Now, also, there have been some stories I've heard about similar, probably similar and or the same creatures being able to move on all fours just as easily as on the basically 2 feet. It says there's a debate around whether Bigfoot shows signs of intelligence. I think you all probably guess where I'm at as far as that goes. Stories suggest they are adept at avoiding humans, but also exhibit curious behaviors, like stealing food. Their demeanor ranges from docile to aggressive in different accounts, and that is very true. Two of the most famous pieces of Bigfoot evidence are the 1958 footprints and the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, but both have been surrounded by controversy and accusations of being hoaxes. Says skeptics believe Bigfoot legends stem from a human propensity for mythical thinking, a need to explain the unknown, or simply just hoaxes and misidentification. Others think the legends could represent extinct primates, like, oh boy, Gigantopithecus? There we go. So let's see here. So let's see here. Of course, this summary continues. It mentions that, again, about connections between folklore and mythology. Basically, these creatures being known and talked about for a long time. Also, its mysterious and elusive nature. That's sort of what gives rise to these ideas that they may not just be regular animals or creatures in the physical sort of mainstream sense, where either they are, but they also have other abilities where they can disappear or camouflage, or even when they disappear, it's whether it's a camouflage thing or if they do actually go through portals or just teleport, or go into other levels of reality. So there's all different debate on what these creatures are and what they can do and can't do and all those things. So, let's see here. So yeah, I think that basically covers most everything here. Let's see here. Mentions that it's. So let's see here. So the summary here does mention it's important to note that the paranormal aspect of Bigfoot is largely associated with the creature's elusive nature and the unexplained mystery surrounding its existence, which is in a way true. Because again, like I said, there's this idea that they're just regular physical creatures that have a regular explanation. But then you have so many stories of them, again, vanishing or changing shape, or them being sighted near UFO sightings, orbs, sightings of orbs changing into them or them changing into orbs, I believe. All different things. So, and we are already out of time. I lost track of time there. So thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.